Sometimes the game is more than a game. This is one of those nights. Yes, the 2 points are important, but this evening, we are all fighting for a greater cause. We are all Kings, and tonight, the Kings fight cancer. From downtown Los Angeles, Staples Center, bringing you Kings hockey tonight on Fox Sports West as the LA Kings welcome in the Carolina Hurricanes as they look to stretch their winning streak to 4 games in a row. Hello there, Kings fans. I'm Patrick O'Neill. This is the 17th annual Hockey Fights Cancer for the NHL, and tonight's night belongs to the LA Kings. All the broadcasters wearing these beautiful lavender ties and handkerchiefs, and the players on the ice wearing the lavender warm-up jerseys, which you could bid on at 52182 or go to lakings.com/auctions. Also, during the second period, this is going to be great. Everybody standing up for cancer. All the fans in attendance going to write down who they stand up for, and you can also take a picture at home of who you stand up for, and you can use Twitter, you can use Facebook or Instagram. So lots of stuff to tell you about throughout the broadcast. We appreciate all that you do at home to help out. We certainly appreciate our 2 great broadcasters, Bob Miller and Jim Fox. Hi, guys.
All right, Patrick, thank you very much, and thank all of you fans for participating in Hockey Fights Cancer tonight. The Kings played their best game of the season last night in San Jose. It was a 4-1 victory. Now they meet a team that is not in the Kings division, and they have to guard against a little bit of a letdown.
It's something you keep an eye on, there's no question, especially early in the game. When you go back to last night, it was the Kings' identity showing through. Get bodies to the front of the net in the offensive zone, but I was most impressed with the defensive zone. Allow the goaltender to see the shooter. Allow the goaltender to not have to worry about anything else except the guy with the puck. You focus on that, shot, save, no rebounds.
Well, the Kings look for their 4th consecutive win here tonight, so we're glad you joined us as the Kings fight cancer next. We are back inside Staples Center on Hockey Fights Cancer Night. The Kings taking on the Carolina Hurricanes as the Kings look for win number 4 in a row. Right now, let's join PA announcer Dave Joseph.
As we honor our great nation and the men and women serving our country at home and overseas, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats and welcome a very special guest and our Northrop Grumman hero of the game, Captain Christopher Boomer Boehm of the U.S. Army. On behalf of the Los Angeles Kings, we thank you for your service and dedication to our country. And now, here to perform the national anthem, please welcome international recording artist, Pia Toscano.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, another outstanding job. Pia Toscano does the national anthem here. Star Spangled Banner, center ice, Staples Center. We're getting ready to get it cranked up. Bob was just talking about a difficult kind of turnaround. Well, it is Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Well, there you see a great picture. 9-year-old Cooper. Alec Martinez. Bailey. This is at the Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. Of course, the players do a lot during the season. And, of course, the special partnership between the Kings and Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. He battled brain cancer. And there is Cooper right now at center ice. He's going to come out to drop the ceremonial puck. And there's no question that this catches the attention of everyone. Great job by Cooper. There's Eric Stahl. Thank you very much. Handshake. Dustin Brown. There's the puck. Thank you very much. Good handshake right there. Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. Save of the game just happened right there before the game even starts. And you can see Cooper's favorite player. It's Bailey. So everyone here tonight raising money to fight cancer. It's an NHL initiative. Players Association, teams, everyone getting together. Starting goaltenders, Cam Ward. You can see career versus the Kings. Not too bad at all. Goals against under 2. Save percentage over 93%. The last 2 starts for Jonathan Quick. He's turned his season around like the Kings have. The Kings back on their game. We hope it continues tonight. It is something to consider, Bob. You touched on it, where you have that letdown. Now it's an Eastern Conference opponent after a big game last night. Pacific Division rival, San Jose. San Jose beats the Kings in the first game of the season. The Kings come back last night. Now you've got to refocus. Back-to-back situation. You got to be ready. Tonight's Fox Sports West face-off is delivered by Chumash Casino Resort. And right now, with the play-by-play, Bob Miller.
All right, Jim, thank you. No disrespect to the Carolina Hurricanes. It's whoever comes in here, probably from the other conference. The Kings have to refocus after that emotional battle last night up in San Jose where they played so well. The Kings win the opening faceoff. They start out with Lucic on the left wing, and up at forward is Toffoli in front to Carter, and he just went to the net and tipped it wide to the right.
That was one of those north-south straight line type of plays. Toffoli didn't have to look. He just throws it there.
Back up to center ice now. Here's Elias Lindholm. He gets checked there by Muzzin. Puck comes down deep into the Kings zone. Boy, what a night Carter had last night. 2 goals, 2 assists. Toffoli had a goal last night. Lucic had a goal last night. Puck driven around the boards in the Kings zone. Chased down there out of the right point. Held in by Carolina. Jordan Staal drives it wide. Picked up by Lindholm again. He put it into the corner as the Kings go for it again. The Kings are 3-3 on the year after losing their first 3. And the Carolina Hurricanes 2-4 coming into this game tonight. Kings Muzzin sends it over to Carter. Game just underway here at Staples Center as Brown brings it to center for the Kings, gives it over to Gabrick. Gabrick chasing it in. Kopitar on the ice for the Kings. Gabrick goes down to the ice, and here is a penalty for holding coming up.
Yeah, Marian Gabrick thought he was going to have a chance in the neutral zone, didn't get there, tried to chase it down. Then one of those things that is just cringing right now with Daryl Sutter, it's the offensive zone penalty. And there's no question right there. You see Dido locks it up arm on arm. Actually a bear hug. Both guys go down. There are sometimes you're looking for a hold out there and you go, well, where was it? Not there. That was an obvious call for the referee. It comes just after the first minute of play. Another one of those offensive zone penalties. So you got to keep an eye on that. Use your legs, get position. If it doesn't work that time, you got to just live to fight another day. Not the case right there. Gabrick goes to the box.
First power play of the night. Carolina on the power play, 2 out of 25, 8%. That's 29th in the league. King penalty killing, 87.1. That's 7th best in the league here early in the season. Off the face-off, it comes back to the blue line. Held in, shot from the right side and gloved by Quick on that shot by Chris Terry.
Another thing Daryl Sutter's been talking about with these penalty kill situations, Bob, and like most teams nowadays, Daryl Sutter uses his top offensive players to kill penalties. So that's why a guy like Andrei Kopitar is seeing the most ice time than anyone else in the entire NHL when you talk about forwards. And, you know, the Kings when you look at the group, maybe struggle to score at times. That might be another reason. You're expending so much energy on penalty kills. You've got to cut down those offensive zone calls.
Kopitar on the faceoff, and he also said as the game goes along, if you get into one of those 3-on-3 overtimes, you want to use those guys, but they've had a lot of ice time even before the 3-on-3 starts. Here's Kopitar to center. Kopitar across the line, looking for a shorthander and a save by Ward, and a rebound on the right side, held in by the Kings. Brown down in the corner. Brown, it's centered and taken away by the Nathan Gerby for the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina on the power play for another minute 30. Puck taken away at center ice. Tipped ahead now by Lewis. Lewis looking for the shorthander. He got it poke checked away by Ward.
And I think Lewis made the right move at the right time. He was trying to use his speed, try to hold it away. But you're right, stick on puck just at the last second. Carolina a little sloppy right there. They had two guys hanging in behind for that drop pass, but Lewis was the guy that got it.
Kings drive it in again, and Ryan Murphy, 22-year-old defenseman, takes it. Kings take it away. Pass up the middle to Lewis, but off his stick, and he couldn't find it. Back to center ice. Taken by the Hurricanes. Moved off on the right wing side now, and back to the blue line. Held in there by Murphy. He gave it on the right side. Picked up and sent in front, and just tipped wide to the left by Eric Stahl. And now up to center ice. Down to the ice goes to Foley, and the puck back into the into the Carolina zone with 38 seconds left to go in the power play for Carolina. They're led by Justin Falk, who's got 2 power play goals on the year. Kings take it away. Here's Doughty in the Kings zone. Doughty clears it up to center ice and down deep into the Carolina zone.
We don't hear a lot about Falk because he plays in the Eastern Conference. He plays for Carolina, a team that hasn't been getting a lot of wins in the last few years, but this guy is slick, he's smart, he's positional. With the puck, without the puck, offside here. Again, that's another real good sign for a penalty kill when you force the other team offside. It happened a couple times last night. Lewis comes in behind. The first man is there to try to pick it up. Now Gerby misses it, but he's going to end up, Gerby's chasing from here. Get the angle and stick on puck right there. So it's the defender Gerby, who's the fourth forward on the ice. Watch him get his stick. Again, I thought Lewis was trying to make the right move at the right time, just snuffed out at the last moment, but pretty good pressure up the ice, understanding when to go after the puck and breaking it up.
8 seconds left to go in the power play for Carolina. Kings take it away and bring it back to center ice. Here's Brown. Brown hit hard at center ice there. The Kings are back at full strength. It was Justin Falk that stepped into Brown. Carolina back up to center ice. Jordan Stahl, their #1 pick of Pittsburgh back in 2006, sends it down in deep. Now behind the net, picked up there by Nestrasil. Andre Nestrasil got it out to the blue line, and now back into Stahl. Chased down now by Brock McGinn. McGinn checked into the corner as Martinez over defensively for the Kings. McGinn comes out with it though, and he shoots, and a save by Quick, and he covers the rebound.
Well, the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Kings off the boards there, but Muzzin does the right thing in front of the net. He stays to the inside, forces the bad angle shot, and Jonathan Quick makes the save. Hyundai keys to the game. Well, front net, D-zone. The Kings were excellent last night, allowing the goaltender to focus on the puck. Grind down a very young Carolina D. They're very young back there, so play Kings hockey, grind them down to start. We're watching it right now. Again, that potential for a trap game, maybe just holding off a little bit. The Kings took a penalty early. We'll see if they can get back on track.
And off the draw here, the Kings are going to control the puck back behind the net. Ehrhoff gives it up to Clifford on the left side. Clifford, he moves it up to center ice. Andrioff and Nolan also on this line. Puck swept around out to the left side to Brad Malone, but taken away down the corner. Now Andrioff with it. Andrioff's pass did not connect, and is taken away by Nathan Gerby. Gerby for Carolina gets it to the King line. Broken up there and cleared out to center ice. Clifford tried to get there, couldn't do it. Malone tipped it back toward his own blue line, and now it's driven down and deep by Ryan Murphy. In behind the King net, Andrioff goes for it there. Gets it off on the right side, and here's Jordan Nolan. Nolan up to center ice, gives it now to Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff across the line, dropped to Clifford. He shoots, and a save by Ward. Stick save, rebound into the corner. Now along the boards, Kings try to regain control, and it's Nick Shore, but his pass taken away and cleared back out to center ice. Kings back in their own zone. We're in the first period. Bob Miller along with Jim Fox. No score in the game. Kings have had some chances, but no score yet. And the puck taken by the Carolina Hurricanes back in their own zone. Michael Jordan, he's out of Sweden.
There's some support down the middle, and Drew Doughty knows exactly what to do when he has support. Force the puck and send him back the other way.
John Michael Lyles back for the Hurricanes. Had it first. Now it comes along the boards, and now up the center. Here's Lyles again. He drives it into the King zone. He was born in Zionsville, Indiana. John Michael Lyles. He's a veteran back on defense. Puck taken and centered out in front, but tipped away. And still play continues. Shot from the blue line. Knocked down in front. Lewis with it there. Stepping into him is Jordan Stahl. It's Jordan Stahl and his brother Eric Stahl. Kings trying to get out of their own zone, but don't do it yet. Pass to the blue line. Held in. Down the right side. A backhander wide by Jordan Stahl. Now taken by the Kings and cleared by Shore up to center ice. Tipped away there for a moment from Pearson. Tanner Pearson goes for it again. Toffoli tried to get a stick on it.
That was Justin Falk, the defenseman I was just talking about. Much like Doughty did, Falk was in perfect position, no gap. And when he senses that, he keeps right on the Kings forward, breaks up the play.
Pass over left side. Jeff Skinner shot and a save there on the shot by actually McGinn with a shot. Skinner's got it now. Skinner, a former NHL Rookie of the Year, can't hang on to it. Kings bring it back to center ice. Taken there by Toffoli, rolls it in. Lucic goes for it. Lucic behind the net, dropped it off, but the Hurricanes give it away to Muzzin. Now right side shot by Martinez. He got a lot of it, but went up high and wide. Puck taken again by the Kings. Here's Toffoli. Toffoli over to Martinez. He shoots, and it's deflected left side. Held in again by the Kings. Down into Lucic. Lucic checked there, and the Hurricanes take it away and still don't clear. Held in by Carter. Carter on the right side. Carter in deep. Carter checked there, but he dropped it off behind the net. Now pass out in front, intercepted by Carolina and held in by Muzzin. Muzzin gets it over now to Toffoli. His shot blocked. Toffoli again. Last night, Jim, the Kings did a great job in the San Jose zone. A shot there by Carter and a save by Ward.
The Kings have been able to make almost a full line change right here on this shift.
Now off the bench, here's Brown. Brown jumps into the play. Carolina zone. Brown still with it. Pass on the right side. And can't get a shot there as it's sent behind the net by McBain. And his pass into the corner, and then it's intercepted and brought back to center ice.
Lucic changed right at the end there, Bob. The Kings made a full-scale change. All 5 players changing because they had so much control in the offensive zone.
Fans applauding that effort by the Kings. Their best control of the puck on the night so far. And the puck taken now by Gabrick. Over to Kopitar. Back to Gabrick, but off the back of his skate and offside. Called against the Kings.
And they're going to put the face-off deep in the Kings zone because they felt Gabrick did not have the... He should have not played the puck right there. Automatic offside all the way down.
Welcome back. I'm Patrick O'Neill. Time now for Guts and Glory, brought to you by Ram Trucks. Talk about guts. How about Tyler 50? And a couple of years ago, through the Make-A-Wish program, he met Andrei Kopitar. Luc Robitaille took to the ice, and now he is a member of the LA Kings ice crew. He fought and won lymphoblastic leukemia. Tremendous kid, and we're going to have much more on this story about Tyler at our second intermission, but proud of what he's been able to accomplish in that 50th family, guys.
Face off in the Kings zone here in the first period with no score in the game. Shots on goal are even at 3 apiece. Hockey Fights Cancer night here, and the fans in the building get involved, and you can too at home, and you'll hear more about it as our telecast goes on. Kings will only have 1 game here at home and then back out on the road to Edmonton and Winnipeg. We'll be in Edmonton on Sunday with the pregame show starting at 6 o'clock. Game time 6:30 on Fox Sports West. Kings and the Oilers. First look at Connor McDavid. Off the draw here, the loose puck played by the Kings and up the center ice, Jordan Nolan. Nolan had it tipped away. McClement goes for it. He tipped it to the line, and a good check thrown there as coming over to take it away. The Kings send it around the boards to Clifford. Clifford can't hold it in. Then a check on Andrioff. He made that check moments ago at the blue line. Picked up by Clifford, who throws it in, but the Kings are offside on the play.
Well, maybe the first time in the game. The body's throwing around a little bit right now, and Kyle Clifford going back to see what's going on the other way. And we had Andrioff on McGinn. We had McGinn on Andrioff. Don't miss your chance to get your hands on Hockey Fights Cancer Lavender Warm-Up. These were absolutely beautiful. The Kings players wore these in warm-up. They signed that for you. You can text Kings to 52182. Visit lakings.com/auctions. You can bid right now.
Kings chase it down into their own zone. They've got McNabb back on defense along with Doughty. Here's Pearson moving it up to center ice. Shoveled ahead there, and into the corner goes Lewis. Lewis dropped it off and gets it back again. Lewis in the circle. His pass in front doesn't connect. Still a battle for it now as the Puck comes into the left wing side and played in there by McNabb. Taken away by Carolina. Cleared in the air out to center ice. Taken there now by Carolina. They get it up on the right wing side. Elias Lindholm. Lindholm, right side. He's got some man in front. He throws it in front, and a backhander and a save by Quick.
Yeah, that was a couple of waves there by the Hurricanes. Didn't look like it was going to happen. Then it did. And Lindholm, right at the blue line, he had to sidestep Brayden McNabb. If he doesn't sidestep the hit, he gets nailed and the play snuffed out. And he just made sure at the last second that he gets the job done. Result is good for the Hurricanes to get it on net.
And back to the blue line, right side. Falk holds it in, taken away by the Kings now, and here's Carter. Gets it up to center ice, and it comes back off with the head of Toffoli. Now back on the right side to Justin Falk. Carolina Hurricanes with it. Sent down deep into the Kings zone, and Martinez hustles back to get a stick on it and gets it up to Toffoli. Toffoli leading the Kings with 4 goals on the year, and the 4 goals in last 5 games. Puck is picked up now by the Kings, and Brown with a shot on target and the save made by Ward. Picked up now by Brock McGinn. He's 21 years old. Left side to Nathan Gerby. He shoots and a save. Gerby with a shot. He's only 5'5". He's out of Oxford, Michigan, and Boston College. Now we get a penalty for interference coming up here, and it looks like they got Michael Jordan, or Mikhail Jordan, I should say.
Yeah, Gaborik that time, Bob, the speed. Remember the first one, the forecheck, he takes the offensive zone penalty, completely different here. Jordan does get the interference because if puck is touched here, it's chipped by, too much time, look at the lateral move. Because he's moving this way, that puts him into the lane of Gaborik. If he just goes straight back, he might have to turn around. Or if that check is made immediately after the chip of the puck, not the case, good call. Kings get a chance here, first chance, man advantage, 5-on-4.
Kings 3 out of 25 on the power play this year, 12%, 24th in the league. Penalty killing for the Hurricanes, tied for 19th at 80%. Kings with a chance here with a man advantage. They've got Doughty out along with Muzzin back at the blue line. And the Kings bring it up to center ice. Here's Brown across the line, down the middle, feeds it right side, shot wide to the left, and comes out toward the left side at the point. Shot was by Kopitar. Back it goes to Muzzin. Right side, Doughty shoots, knocked away into the corner by Ward. Kings try to regain control again. Here's Gaborik with it. Gaborik to Brown, to Gaborik. They still battle, and it gets by Doughty at the blue line. He sends it all the way back, right on target at Quick, who was ready for it.
That first break-out, break-in entry, all that speed backs off the Hurricanes. The Kings get in.
Doughty to Kopitar, played it off the boards. Kopitar back to Doughty, right point, shoots and a save by Cam Ward.
Well, the speed again. Remember last night, the first unit for the Kings had trouble getting into the zone. They were a little bit out of sync. Not so far tonight. They've had 2 chances, 2 entries, and 2 shots. The second one is just wide speed by Kopitar. We'll see if the Kings get traffic. Toffoli's there, Gaborik's there, but no one right in front of the goaltender, so Ward has a chance to see it all the way, no rebound, but a pretty good entry with all that speed.
Cam Ward, number 1 pick by Carolina back in 2002. His record against the Kings lifetime in 6 previous games, 3-1-2. And his goals against, 1.97. Puck taken there and driven off the boards the length of the ice and all the way down the Kings zone by John Michael Lyles. Kings pick it up now and start back out. We're in the first period with no score. 9:23 to go in the period. Pass across the line. Chased down there by Ron Hainsey, and he sends it all the way back into the Kings zone.
Very rarely do you make that pass up the middle like the Kings tried, but it's a good idea. Every once in a while, go up the middle. It changes up, a little variety. Backs off the other team.
Christian Ehrhoff across the line. Gives it on the right side to Carter. Gives it back to Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff at the blue line. 35 seconds to go in the power play. Martinez walking in, shoots, blocked, rebound. Ehrhoff feeds it right side. Shot from there, score! Tyler Toffoli! Toffoli scores and gets his 5th goal and 5th in the last 6 games, and Toffoli gives the Kings a 1-0 lead.
Look at that speed on attack on the entry has been a big difference here tonight. Look at this first chance here. Gonna stop here, guys. Look at Lucic. He's making it tough on Ward. It actually hits Lucic, but the Kings don't stop there. And you can see all the traffic in front. Now the second time, Ward was off balance. He tried to come out, but he's off balance. Look, he's down already before the shot. He tries to get back up again. By that time, Toffoli just kind of held. He just paused and then fired. By that time, too late. Kings lead 1-0.
Toffoli with goals in 4 consecutive games. That's his longest goal streak in his career. The puck comes back behind the net, picked up now by the Avalanche, and a pass up the middle, tipped out to center ice. Chased down now by the Kings, and trying to get there is Tanner Pearson.
And guess who? Trevor Lewis with the stick, making the play. We saw last night how many good defensive plays Trevor made. Another one here in the first period.
Puck comes back to the blue line, and it is tipped out to center, but the Kings have it again. Across the line, offside called here.
And we get a trip here. Trip against Trevor Lewis right at the end. He just clipped the offensive zone blue line right there, and he's going to go to the box. Toffoli and the Kings with a 1-0 lead. Now, we're not worthy, but this is certainly worthy of a Carl's Cam replay because last 4 games, Tyler Toffoli sniped to the top. That's a nice pass from Lucic. Power play goal at Staples Center. Pick it off. Create daylight. Slow it down. Use the hands. That's against the Avs. Last night, San Jose. 47 moves in about a 2-foot period. Fake shot. Pass. Ehrhoff have everyone thinking. And then just hold it. Wait, he sensed the fact that the goaltender Cam Ward was off balance. And he didn't shoot it right away. He made the goaltender's momentum work against him. And you saw 4 goals, maybe 4 different ways. It doesn't matter. Tyler Toffoli putting it in the net.
And as you saw, career high goals in 4 straight. Kings with a 1-0 lead, but now the power play in effect for the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck taken away for a moment there and then cleared by Brown out to center ice. Hurricanes back together with 8 minutes left to go here in the first period. Toffoli is 5th of the year, comes on the power play, assist to Christian Ehrhoff and Alec Martinez at 11:06. Kings take it away. Brown in the neutral zone, and he sends it in. The Kings are going to change penalty killers. Brown goes off, so does Kopitar. Onto the ice. Pearson comes on. Shore on the right side. Puck comes down in deep, and it is batted down. Hurricanes hold it in at the left point. Pass over there, and now back almost intercepted. It comes off on the right wing side, held in by Elias Lindholm. Lindholm hanging onto it. His dad played with the Kings. Back to Lindholm. Right wing side. Lindholm pass up the middle. Shot from there. Saved by Quick on the shot by Jeff Skinner.
Well, the Hurricanes were very, very disciplined right there to hold on and move it around and make it work. And then finally, Jonathan Quick has to make the save. The goal by the Kings. You'll see 2 Hurricanes because of the great fake shot right here. Gonna stop here, guys. Look at that stick. And that puts 2 players in a position where they think they're going to block the shot. But guess what? Tyler Toffoli wide open on the far side, and that's all it takes. But that fake shot sets it up. It freezes everyone. It freezes the block shot, guys. It also freezes the goaltender.
Going to do the face-off again here in the Kings zone to the left of Jonathan Quick. 1:01 left to go on the power play for Carolina. Kings win the draw was Carter. Now taken by Doughty and cleared. All the way back down into the Carolina zone. Well, they've taken the assist away from Martinez, 27, given it to Lucic, number 17. So Lucic gets another point here tonight. Puck is cleared to the blue line, taken by Toffoli. He got it to center, but Falk took it away for Carolina. Now into the King zone. Down the left side, nice move. Victor Rask threw it in front and tipped away into the corner. Helmet comes off, and it's thrown down into the net. It was Versteeg. Kings come back right side. Carter pulls up, threw it in front, and just out of reach there of Toffoli.
That was good. Defending once again by the Hurricanes. Right at the crease. That was Terry that time.
Toffoli in front and a save by Ward. Nice pass by Carter out of the corner.
And Ward had to be very quick because no one was expecting that. What a pass.
Carolina with it, and the Kings are back at full strength. They killed the second penalty here in the first period. Puck is driven down in deep now by Jordan Staal for Carolina. Comes into the corner. Martinez for the Kings. Can't clear it out. From the blue line, a shot and a stick save made by Jonathan Quick. Shot came from the left side. That shot by Noah Hannafin. And an offside called here against the Kings. So the Kings off to a 1-0 lead here in the first period over the Carolina Hurricanes. Toffoli on the power play.
There's chemistry between Carter and Toffoli, but there's also smarts. Jeff Carter, head up. Look, he's analyzing where's the pressure going to come from. Then when he gets to the puck, watch this. Toffoli and Carter looking at each other. So they sense something is going to happen here. But watch Carter spin to protect the puck. Where's the pressure? He spins all in one motion on the backhand, and Toffoli hits right on the stick. Nice save by Ward. But a great example there of Carter buying time by analyzing first before he gets to the puck. Then just that hidden sense. You know, you kind of get that eye contact. You don't need to talk. You don't need to shout. You get the eye contact. Pass, backhand, right on the stick.
Now the face-off just outside the blue line of the Carolina Hurricanes. These two teams will meet twice this year. Next one, of course, will be in Raleigh, North Carolina. Puck taken by the Hurricanes. Got it out to center ice. Broken up there by Ehrhoff for the Kings. Tried to give it to Tanner Pearson. Chased in by Carolina in their own zone. They get it off on the right side and now bring it up to center ice. Intercepted there in the neutral zone by the Kings and flipped right back up in the air by Lewis down into the Carolina zone. Ward put it behind the net. Kings come in. Lewis trying to get to the loose puck. It's cleared up to center ice. And here's a break down the right side. Jordan Staal in front. Shoots wide to the right side. McBain got back in a hurry for the Kings.
Everyone focused on the puck, and there was a reason for that. There was a delay. Didn't look like it was going to happen. All of a sudden, breakaway.
Now the Kings back to center ice. Sent in deep by Nick Shore. Shore's going to go to the bench. Kings to line change. Thrown right in front by Lewis. But it's cleared to the blue line and then out to center ice. Taken by Andriov. Would have been a delayed offside on the Kings, but now they touch up and play continues. 4:51 to go here in the first period. Avalanche back to center. On the right wing, Ryan Murphy. Murphy tried to throw it in to Eric Staal. Taken away by the Avalanche again, or by the Hurricanes again. Thrown into the corner. Picked up there and flipped in front. It's tipped up in the air. It was flipped there by Elias Lindholm. Back to the point. Shot deflected into the corner and chased down by McNabb.
Yeah, scramble time right now for the Kings. A little bit out of sync right here. The Hurricanes putting on a little pressure. Everyone involved, all 5 men.
Kings get control of it though, and Jordan Nolan brings it up to center ice. And throws a push from behind. Last night that would have been cross-checked. Puck is cleared back up to center ice. And back into the Kings zone on the left wing. Taken there, and a shot knocked away by Quick. That shot by Rask. No relation to Tuukka Rask of Boston. Back up to center. Here's Gaborik. Gaborik across the line in front. He shoots. Saved by Ward. Gaborik was skating that time, and he created a chance for himself.
You know, again, especially after that first penalty, I think that Marian Gaborik has something in the back of his mind. He's got to get on his horse, and he's been on his horse every play since then. Pretty good move by Ward again across the crease.
Here's Brown to center. Feeds it left side to Gaborik. Gaborik threw it back in front. Trying to get it to Brown, but it's tipped away and picked up by Carolina. Cleared out to center ice and deep in the Kings zone, and icing called against the Hurricanes.
Well, the Canes had their chance too with Jordan Staal on the breakaway. Now, Jonathan Quick knows the pressure is coming from McBain, so he can kind of stay at home there. He doesn't have to overplay the situation. Back the other way. Bobbled once, bobbled twice, but then finally, look at the protection of the leg. You see Gaborik getting his leg out there to make sure the stick can't hack the puck. Might hack him on the leg, but it's not going to get to the puck. It was pretty impressive there how Gaborik was able to keep that speed up, warding off the stick at the same time.
Carter on the face-off of the Kings now in the Carolina zone. Lucic and Toffoli up front with him. And off the draw, the Carolina Hurricanes go for it, but don't get it. Lucic had it up the middle, taken by Carter, and his shot deflected up high and out of play.
Another sense of that chemistry developing. Lucic was given the free rein to go in the corner, and no one joined him because both Toffoli and Carter said, okay, this man's going to get me the puck, and that's exactly what happened. It's taken a while, but it certainly is building right now. The Kings make a change back on the blue line. Have an offensive zone face-off here, so they go with kind of a situational change with the defense pair. McNabb and Doughty, more offensive players, come on the ice for the offensive zone draw.
And Carter ready again now on this face-off against Jordan Staal. And he wins the face-off, but it rolls down into the corner, and Staal goes back to pick it up for Carolina. Makes a nice spin move there and heads up to the blue line. Sends it all the way down into the Kings zone, and Braden McNabb back to get it. Sweeps it off on the right side, and the Kings don't control it. Taken away. Hurricanes hold it in. Here's Jordan Staal down in deep behind the net. Picked up there and sent around the boards by McGinn. Brock McGinn checked into the boards by McNabb. And the Kings are finally going to get to it and bring it up to the blue line by Lucic, and it's swept off of his stick. Now in front alone, a shot hit the post. The shot in deep by Brock McGinn.
Kings need a face-off here. They need a break. They need something to go on. They've been scrambling with a puck here. Even with a change, you just got to get it out. Get a face-off any way you can. The one thing you don't want to face-off for is the puck in your own net.
Behind the net, the Kings fighting for it there, and they've had trouble, as Jim said, getting out of their own zone. A couple times I thought they were only a few feet away from the blue line, and the Hurricanes took it away.
Even an icing here, Bob. Even an icing. This is the situation. You take the icing.
Now right in front, tipped away, and now back to the blue line. Here on the right side, Murphy shoots, and a save by Quick. Sprawling back, he knocked it away. Held in again. Brad Malone. Back to the right point, Ryan Murphy. His drive is into the corner. Now behind the net, Carolina with it again, taken on the left wing side. Jay McClement, the veteran, put it behind the net. Pass in front, comes wide to the left. McClement shoots, tipped away, back behind the net again.
Now you have fatigue factor, and yet Lucic does the right thing. You got to get it down. You have 5 exhausted Kings on the ice. Again, I've mentioned many times, Daryl Sutter does not like to use his timeout in these situations. This might be one. And the Hurricanes changed right away to make it happen. Lucic had a chance. This was after an extended period of time in their own zone. Didn't get it out, and right there off the post. It was a rolling puck. It was a bouncing puck. And McGinn just kind of snipes it with his hand and then just chips it with a stick. You see the poke of Quick misses? Important right here to win a draw. The Kings are dead tired.
And they don't get it. It comes back to the right point. Same Kings players are on the ice. You can't change after that icing. Now Carolina trying to hold it in. It's taken away by Lucic. He got it out to center ice with 1:25 to go in the first period.
2 forwards get a change. Jeff Carter, the only forward that stays on. And there it is. Yeah, get a face-off. Now you can change your defenseman. Drew Doughty, we've talked so many times, Bob, about Doughty's understanding of the game. Right there, he got it back to Jonathan Quick on purpose, just to get the face-off. Not looking for offense here. He's just looking for a face-off. Look right there. Back to the goaltender, hold on, and get it done. So let's hope for the Kings that they get it done right here with a face-off. The last 3 or 4 shifts, all Hurricanes trying to tie it up.
Lindholm on the draw. His dad, Michael, played with the Kings 1989-90. And the puck into the corner of the Kings zone. Kings with a 1-0 lead, a precarious lead right now because of the pressure by Carolina. Shot by Falk, and knocked away by Quick, and then a quick whistle as Gabbard picked up the puck, but the whistle had blown.
And the referee was in behind Jonathan Quick, and Quick was kind of scrunching up his arm into his body, and the referee felt that it was held onto. Falk's had a good period so far. Smart player. Active. He is the Drew Doughty, so to speak, of the Hurricanes. He's playing pretty well here in the first.
Kings get to it. Can they clear it now? It's along the board. Still picked up by Staal. Eric Staal, a shot and a save made by Quick. Now under a minute to go here in the period. Ron Hainsey in to pick it up. Hainsey playing in his 761st NHL game tonight. He has never played in a playoff game. 761st game tonight. And no playoff games for Ron Hainsey.
And Hainsey had a difficult time on that last one, Bob, because of a bobbling puck. And
he's without being in the playoffs, he's never had to play long. So when he retires, I don't think he can use that line, I want to spend more time with my family.
There it is.
He's had a lot of time with him.
And that last dumping, Andrei Kopitar did the safe thing. The puck was bouncing. He was there. Hainsey was off balance. Could have finished through. Would have picked up a boarding call if that was the case. Didn't held off. And that would be the thing the Kings don't need right now, is another penalty to kill off. So offensive zone face-off for the Kings. A chance to spend time in the offensive zone.
Shore gets excused from the face-off dot. Lewis comes in to take the draw for the Kings in the Carolina zone. Face-off won by Jordan Staal. Puck comes up to center, taken away by the Kings. And McBain gets it to center ice, and the Kings back across the line. Here on the left side, thrown in deep to Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff centered it, but it's intercepted now by Carolina. 25 seconds left to go in the period. Puck comes back down into the Carolina zone. Back behind the net, cut off there by Cam Ward. He drives it around the glass and up to center ice. Carolina with it. Offside on the play, and that's going to be faced off now with only 11 and a half seconds to go.
Again, the energy has been there for the Kings. They've allowed 14 shots on goal already. They have 9 of their own, but I think the energy has been there. You can see a couple of times, Bob, and you've touched on it, where, it's just that you're kind of thinking, not the first play, you're not making the first play, then that first play goes away and you don't have a second option, those types of things. But overall, in that potential trap game situation, I like the energy of the Kings here in the first.
And the puck taken by Justin Falk for Carolina. 4.5 seconds ago, a shot knocked away by Quick, and it's still in the Kings zone, and that is the end of the first period. The Kings had 1 goal. That man with a hot hand, Tyler Toffoli, is 5th of the year, 5 in 6 games and goals in 4 straight. The assist to Christian Ehrhoff and Milan Lucic at 11:06. Kings lead it 1-0. Right now, let's go out to Patrick and Sean for the Lexus Intermission Report. Hockey is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the home-style ranch chicken club today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Subaru. Subaru loves promise. Subaru's pledge is to do right by the communities in which we all live and work. Well, I don't know about you Kings fans, but for years I was jealous. I was so jealous of teams coming into the NHL long after the Kings came in, and yet those teams were winning Stanley Cups. A bad team in Colorado, the Rockies, moved to New Jersey. They win 3 Stanley Cups. Then Colorado gets another team, and they win a cup the first year there, and another one 5 years later. And then 1999, the Dallas Stars win. 2004, the Tampa Bay Lightning win. Then 2006, these Carolina Hurricanes win. And 2007, the insult of all, the Anaheim Ducks win. And you think, when is it the Kings' turn? But you know what? I'm mellowed out now. I'm not so jealous anymore. 2 Stanley Cups in 4 years for the Kings, and I'm relaxed. And I think all of us are, and we'll see what happens this year. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Right now, let's see what happens in the second period.
Sometimes it's a long time waiting. Sometimes it's a little bit quicker. And the fans here at Staples Center looking for the Kings to keep going the way they've been going again. There was mistakes made in the first, but the energy was there, and that's something that you're looking for in that potential trap game situation. The energy was there. You could see the Kings were trying to move it. The Hurricanes got more aggressive as the period went along, so we'll see if the Kings can kind of not slow it down, but just make the safer plays.
Well, it's taken away by the Hurricanes and sent right in front of the slot. Held in now at the blue line by Ron Hainsey. Throws it down the corner of the Kings zone, broken up by Muzzin to the blue line. Hainsey shoots and a save by Quick. So this period starting about the way the first period ended. Again, the Hurricanes with it now down in deep. Here's a shot just wide to the right side. The shot by Victor Rask. And the Kings back to center ice. Driven down deep into the zone. A backhander in front and almost tipped in. Toffoli threw it in front. Lucic came by in front. It did not go in, and it's cleared all the way back down into the King zone and back to get it, Doughty.
Much like Carter earlier, Toffoli spun his body around and protected the puck for Lucic to get to the front of that. After all the chances involving the Hurricanes, the Kings did a pretty good one themselves, and they're looking to be opportunistic in this game so far because you're right, Bob. The Hurricanes have started this period and they're putting pressure on the Kings.
Into the Carolina zone, down into the corner. Kopitar tried to get there, but the puck cleared up ahead to center ice, and a good check there by McNabb. He threw the check and knocked it away as it comes off on the right wing side. He threw the check at Brock McGinn, 21-year-old rookie. Puck cleared up ahead to Kopitar, but taken away by Gerby in the slot. He shoots, and a glove save by Quick.
The Kings are caught here so far in the first, Bob, leaving the zone without the puck. And that's one of those decisions that you have to kind of just take an extra deep breath, and you see Kopitar. Very rarely will see Anze guilty of that. He's usually well behind the puck. Toffoli spin, protect, pass all in one motion, off the stick of the goaltender, then the stick of Lucic. So just a few things to kind of clean up here for the Kings as we start period number 2.
Face-off now in the King zone, and Nestrasil wins the draw. Back to the blue line. Shot from there by Hanifin is tipped into the corner. Noah Hanifin, he's only 18 years old. Where's number 5? The Carolina Hurricanes. Puck taken by Christian Ehrhoff. Drove it up to center ice, and no icing here. Back to get it is Lewis. Lewis behind the net. Lewis steps around Hannafin. Tried a backhander, tipped away. Lewis with it again. Trevor Lewis checked there, gets it into Shore. Nick Shore down in the corner. Shore dropped it off to Pearson, back to Shore, but taken away now by Ryan Murphy. And the Hurricanes clear it out to center ice. Kings break it up. They get it ahead now to Shore. Right side shoots, and a save by Ward. Rebound left side. Ehrhoff with a drive.
Ow.
Blocked. Hit one of the Carolina Hurricanes. I think Nestrasil down on his knees. Then a pass in front and did not get tipped in. Shot by Ehrhoff and a save. And finally the whistle blows, and it is Nestrasil in pain going over to the bench. He's from the Czech Republic in his second year.
Man, the Kings had all kinds of... This is the first time the Kings have had pressure in this period. And Nestrasil just gives himself up for it. Just by the looks of this, I think it got him somewhere. You know, you got those shin pads on. Yeah, it looks like he was turned sideways. There's not a lot of protection on the side of your leg. We'll see it here as the shot comes in. Oh, yes. I've had it happen to me before, Bob. Right on the inside of the knee or the outside of the knee where you don't have that front kneecap protection, and it just goes all the way through your body. You can tell the pain right there. Blocks the shot, saves the goal.
And Nestrasil, he was a number 3 pick of Detroit in 2009, signed as got on waivers from Detroit over to Carolina. And he went right to the bench and down the hallway. Puck comes all the way back into Martinez in the Kings zone. Kings with a 1-0 lead. Now to center ice. Nolan overskated it there. Taken away by Jay McClement. McClement threw it off on the right side. A return pass broken up, and the Kings clear it to center this time. And still having trouble with it. Clifford got knocked down. Puck is taken by Carolina. Pass on the left wing side. McClement down in the corner. He gets checked there by Muzzin. Back to the blue line. Shot by Falk. Deflected left side to Hainsey. Shoots. Tipped in front. Save. Rebound up the middle. And Nolan gets to it for the Kings.
The footwork of John McQuick so impressive because that last shot changed directions. It went from high to low. He was able to pad to just drag it and make the save.
Hainsey back in to get it now for the Carolina Hurricanes. Clear it up ahead to Victor Rask. Taken away by the Kings. Left side. Here's Carter. But offside called against the Kings.
Well, transition back forth. It is sloppy here in the second period. And the Hurricanes have had some chances. And they've been just putting the puck on net. You'll see this last one come through. Watch this deflection. Off to the side, McClement. And down low. You saw the right leg come out from Quick. He made the stop on that one. High above. It goes off maybe the back skate of Muzzin, but it hits someone who was going towards it. Then he makes the second one. Didn't see that the first time. So even though that's the one thing we talk about John McGuick so many times, even though he is extending himself so far with the flexibility, he still maintains strength. He still maintains balance, and he had to twice there to make saves.
Well, there you saw his record lifetime against the Carolina Hurricanes. A team that he does not see a lot, nor do the Kings because of them being in the Eastern Conference. Puck thrown around the boards in the Kings zone. Doughty gets it up to Toffoli. He's got the King goal tonight. Now Toffoli at center. Toffoli hangs on. Kings get on side. He throws it in deep. Chased it down himself. Toffoli checked there, and the puck in the corner, and then tipped off the boards and taken by the Avalanche to center. the Hurricanes to center ice. I can't get over calling them the Avalanche. I don't know why. Maybe the way they're coming in the zone, they look like an avalanche all the time. Puck cleared up in the air and down into the Hurricane zone. Cleared back up to center ice to Nathan Gerbe. He sends it into the King zone, and Ehrhoff back to play it there. Ehrhoff with it again. Pass to Kopitar up to center ice now. The Kings have Brown break into the blue line, but tipped away from Gabrick. Picked up on the right wing side by Brock McGinn. McGinn has seen a lot of ice time tonight. He throws it toward the net, knocked away by Quick. Played by Jordan Stahl. Now McGinn goes for it again. He's checked behind the net, threw it out in front, swept away by Quick into the corner. Loose puck. The Hurricanes again with a shot from the left point. Knocked down there and down into the corner. They still keep the pressure on. Back to the blue line, John Michael Lyles.
This feels like a matter of time situation here with the Hurricanes. I mean, you just keep putting on the pressure. And the Kings looking to be opportunistic because the Hurricanes getting all the chances.
Kings come back now. Here's Brown looking for the puck. And his pass taken away. Picked up now by Jay McClement again. Into the King zone. McClement gets stopped there, and Brown has it. Brown's pass up the center. McClement got a stick on that, and he takes over. Jay McClement, his 11th year. free agent out of Toronto to Carolina. Now Brown goes for it again. Can he clear? Not yet. Now it's up to center ice. Chased down there by the Kings. Here is Tanner Pearson. Right side shoots and up high and out of play.
Nice D there by Murphy. He really had his stick out in front of his body. The Kings had a chance off to the far side. Directed traffic. The last couple saves there for Quick. With Clement in front. The first one off the pad. The second one off the pad. Call that flexibility right there. I mean, he is covering post to post. He keeps his upper body upright so he's strong through the core to make sure he can find the puck. And he's been the difference so far in this game. I know the Kings have a 1-0 lead, but Quick has been real good, real sharp.
Now along the right wing side, the Hurricanes dig it out and move it over to the blue line and up to center ice.
Something has to change here for the Kings. Something has to kind of settle down. Again, it's energy, but it's just kind of mental mistakes at times when you're moving the puck, trying too much, leaving the zone without the puck.
And we got a penalty coming up here, maybe against the Hurricanes.
That would be a break for the Kings. Yeah, it is. Offensive zone call, Bob. You're exactly right on the forecheck. So the Kings will get a chance to maybe settle things down. The most unique voice in sports is on FS1. Join Colin Cowherd as you bring you smart sports talk, along with some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment every weekday. The Herd with Colin Cowherd, weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on FS1. So the Kings looking to get their game going. Maybe this kind of Rask goes up for the trip. He kind of dragged his leg, not necessarily a slew foot, but I think it was skate on skate to create the trip. Kings man advantage here with a 1-0 lead.
And they have a power play goal tonight by Toffoli, his 5th goal of the year. Puck cleared all the way back into the King zone. Chased down by Martinez. Martinez and Ehrhoff back at the blue line on the power play. And the Kings with Carter, Lucic, Toffoli up front. Kings bring it across to Carter, right side. Carter in deep, plays the glass out to the left side to Martinez. Martinez gives it back to Carter. He gives it to Toffoli. Toffoli down in deep. Lucic is at the side of the net. Now Carter quickly back to the blue line. Now over to Ehrhoff. Shoots, tipped, and into the corner, played by Toffoli.
One-touch passing, gets it moving. Move the puck around, they can't catch up.
Ehrhoff up the middle and falling down there, though, is Carter, and back to center ice. Across the line is Stahl. He shoots and just wide. Rebound, and getting back to knock it away was Quick. That's one of those you could almost easily knock into your own net. But he didn't do it. Kings bring it back out to center ice with 1:02 left to go in the power play. Carter, left side. Carter's pass goes behind the net. Kings with 1 shot on goal on this power play, and the Hurricanes have it again and clear it into the King zone. Muzzin back to get it. To Doughty. Doughty back up to center on the power play. Feeds it on the left side. Chased in behind the net by Brown. Tried to give it to Gabrick. He didn't get it. Comes to the point. Right side. Here's Doughty. Doughty to Muzzin. Over left side to Gabrick. His shot wide. Rebound off the board. Played by Doughty. Into Brown. Brown back to the blue line. Now Doughty waits. Hangs on. Feeds it back over to Muzzin. Muzzin to Doughty. Doughty shoots. Save. Rebound. Cleared but not out. Taken by Doughty. Right side to Kopitar. Kopitar still with it now. Kopitar hangs on. His pass across the ice. Played there, and a shot up high as falling down. The shot went up high. The shot by Doughty. Pass in front. Back at full strength. The Hurricanes. The Kings still have it, though. Couldn't score on the power play. Now pass up the middle. Gabrick didn't get the shot. Gives it back over to Doughty. Shoots. Save. Rebound. Played by Carolina and cleared all the way back down into the King zone.
And Doughty does not play the puck at the bench to save with too many men on the ice on the last change, but the Kings, maybe that shift gave them a little bit more time with the puck, a chance to settle things down. Now you've got to see if they can continue the rotation with everyone getting involved in the offensive zone.
Lewis sends it into the Carolina zone. Shore goes for it. Back to Lewis. Lewis tried to tip it along the board. Shore had it. Now Pearson going for it. He's got it. He gets it to Shore. Back over to Lewis. To Pearson behind the net. Pearson still with it. Carolina zone into Shore. Referee gets in the way. Shore into the corner. Still battles. He got checked there. Bounced off the check. Gives it now to to Pearson to the blue line. There's Martinez. His shot just wide. Shore plays it off the boards. Shore to Pearson to the blue line. And a shot from there and a glove save by Cam Ward. So it's still 1-0 in favor of the Kings, but much better there in the Carolina zone.
Is Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Founded in 1988. Look at this. Thanks to the fans. Thanks to everyone around the National Hockey League. Raised over $15 million. NHLPA, NHL, everyone gets together. Distribute to local cancer organizations in all 30 NHL markets. HockeyFightsCancer.com.
Fans getting into it here at Staples tonight. Kings with a 1-0 lead, though, and a precarious lead at that. A shot from the point is just tipped wide to the left, shot by Muzzin. Chased into the corner by Pearson, but taken away now and brought back out to center ice. Lindholm's pass over to Hainsey. Hainsey of the left point. Threw it in deep. Muzzin goes for it. Still a battle along the boards. Muzzin trying to poke it free with his stick. Victor Rask is there for Carolina. He threw it behind the net. Chased into the corner by Elias Lindholm. He gets checked there. Muzzin picks it up. Muzzin to Pearson. Pearson with a bouncing puck. Can't clear it out. Held in on the right side. Taken there by Eric Stahl and tipped away from him back out to center ice and into the Hurricane zone. Taken away by Lewis in the slot, but Hainsey got back to break it up. Martinez back, gives it over to McNabb. He drives it in deep and a stop by Ward, and he covers it up there. So now we're down to 9:50 to go in period number 2, and the goal by Toffoli. Power play goal still standing up for the Kings.
Here with Jordan Nolan, what's working for your team and what do you want to see improve the rest of the way?
I think we have to play in there a little bit more. We're starting to turn over a bit here, so just work on that. I think we control these guys nicely in their end.
What's the identity of your line?
Just bring energy and be hard in the forecheck. So we got to get back to that right now. We haven't been in there in a while, so.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys, back to you.
Yeah, they were reading my keys earlier. Grind down a young D. The Kings did that a little bit there in the first, but certainly have gotten away from it. And I think Jordan hit it right on the nose there, where he's talking about the Kings kind of coughing it up, turning it over, and we've seen it a couple times here, leaving the zone without the puck. All of a sudden, you're chasing it. You got to play deep.
9 of the last 11 games between these two teams have been decided by 1 goal, so we're right on pace tonight. 1-0 Kings. Puck comes deep into the Kings zone. Chased in by Doughty. Gives it to Carter. Now to McNabb. Now to Carter again. He gets it to the blue line and out to center ice. Hurricanes break it up there. Kings back in their own zone. McNabb gives it to Doughty. His pass, the blue line of Carolina.
Yeah, very difficult sliding through the neutral zone. And the Hurricanes just get the puck once again. Now, they're not getting counterattacks off it, but they're certainly breaking up the Kings.
Here is Stahl. Sends it over on the right side. Held in by Brock McGinn. Back to the blue line as it's tipped out to center ice. And the Hurricanes have it again. They pass it up ahead. Chris Versteeg used to be with Chicago. Now it's taken away by Brown. Brown sends it in deep. Chased it down in deep. Spinning away from him and comes back behind the net. John Michael Lyles knew to get out of the way of Brown. He did. And the Hurricanes with a shot and a save, and hanging on to it is Quick with no rebound there. And a face-off coming up. Versteeg getting that shot.
Yeah, Lyles was pretty quick because Dustin Brown was out there trying to get the forecheck going. Registration for the 2016 Little Kings Learn to Play Hockey, presented by Lucky Brand, is now open. 4 to 8 children. Yeah, if you're between those ages, receive a complete set of CCM hockey equipment and 6 on-ice sessions. LittleKings.com. That's LAKings.com/LittleKings. Check it out, learn how to play, and have a lot of fun.
Versteeg drives it in deep in the Kings zone. Now along the boards, dug out by Brown. Brown got knocked down or went down to the ice, but he got a pass. Boy, the stick work of the Hurricanes. They've got it in front all the time and picking up the puck. Here's Versteeg to the blue line. Shot saved by Quick, and he gathers in the rebound.
I think a theme here in the second, Bob, has been the Kings looking up at the puck, having a first play, but they want to make a better play. And then by the time they make a better play, that play's gone, and you got to start all over again. And we'll see Quick. Important thing here, 1 shot, no rebound. Smothered right there by Jonathan Quick. He's right there, close enough to it. I think Jonathan is sensing what's going on here in the second period. Any chance he gets here, he's trying to slow it down.
Eric Stahl on this face-off. 7 shots apiece in this second period, and they win the draw on a shot by Murphy and hit the post and came back out, and the Kings have it. Back up to center ice on the right side is Nolan. Nolan chasing it in deep and into the corner, still has it. Hangs on, gives it back to the blue line. Muzzin, his drive is just over the head of the referee who ducks out of the way, and the puck is taken by Andy Andrioff. Andrioff throws it down in deep, but it's taken over by Carolina. Sent up the left side by Noah Hannafin. Born in Boston, went to Boston College for 1 year. Nolan at center ice for the Kings. Drives it deep. Picked up there by Andrioff. Andrioff looking for room, but it's swept off his stick out to center ice.
There's an example there, Bob, in the offensive zone. You have that play, it's in front of you. You wait that extra second, play's gone away.
Kings with control in their own zone now. Bring it up to center and flip it high in the air. Hainsey knocked it down, and offside called against the Kings.
We're going to take a look at that last one.
Yeah, I thought it hit the post, but came out so fast, but quick. Yeah, he got his left pad out there to make the save.
There was a double tip on the play where it hits out a little high, then it goes down a little further, and then Jonathan Quick, he's kind of, I don't know if he saw it, but watch the sense of Quick. Once, twice, and he knows the area it's coming to. He doesn't necessarily see it, but he gets his body to the right position, make the save.
Here's Hainsey now up to center ice. Deep into the King zone. McNabb goes for it. He got it ahead. Nice play there to Shore.
That's a good play by McNabb. First play, good support, get it out.
Poke checked away, though, as the Kings came across the line. It was Lewis with some speed. Carolina with it. They have to go back to center ice to make sure they stay on side. And the puck driven deep into the King zone now with 6:55 to go in period number 2.
There's McNabb with a nice spin-around play. So 2 solid first passes by McNabb. It's a baby steps right now for the Kings to get it started again.
Lewis throws it in deep. Carolina zone, a battle for it behind the net, and it comes over in front, and Lewis couldn't get a stick on it. Now the puck going to be taken by the Hurricanes. They can't clear. It's held in by McBain. He gives it over to Carter. Carter drops it back to Pearson. His shot and a glove save by Ward.
So we'll just try to get the momentum going, trying to get that. When we talked last night before the game, Bob, I was bringing up that shift-to-shift intensity. And that's, something that's very important. Daryl Sutter just trying to hang on right now. Not everything goes your way. And credit the Hurricanes for getting, as you were saying, Bob, the sticks in the lanes and just on the pucks and nonstop. And sometimes you just got to recognize momentum and find ways to slow it down. Then you settle yourself down and go the other way.
Carter on the draw in the Carolina zone right now. Toffoli scored a power play goal at 11:06 of the first period, and that has been it so far tonight as far as scoring. The assists on that goal went to Ehrhoff and Lucic. Hurricanes into the King zone. Brad Malone in deep, but his pass intercepted by Lucic, and he got it to the blue line, but not out yet. It was knocked down there, now picked up and brought down the left side. Chased down in deep by Toffoli. Poked away by Ward. Toffoli again. He tried to give it to Lucic. Intercepted by Carolina. Back they come. Malone's pass off on the right side and driven down back behind the King net where it's cut off by Quick. Kings get it to Lucic. Up ahead to Toffoli. Toffoli played it off the boards. Chased it down himself. Toffoli down into the corner. Toffoli gets checked there, and the loose puck is taken by Carolina. Lucic almost got there in time.
You can talk about Tyler Toffoli and his skill. That last shift with Toffoli, it was just all hard work. Chip the puck, skate it down, lean on someone else, and try to make it happen.
Now to center ice. Kings with it, across the line, left side. Kopitar in deep. Couldn't bring it back in front. Rolled off his stick. Kopitar to the blue line. Shot from there, wide to the right side by Muzzin. Picked up behind the net by Brown. Brown turning in the circle. Brown in the slot. Right side, Muzzin shoots and a save. And the rebound off the pad and just wide of the right goal post.
Flexibility by Ward that time. Toenail save.
Here is a shot by Muzzin and a glove stop by Ward. So the Kings with some pressure on with 4:58 to go in the second period. Kings up by 1. Well, a special moment at Staples Center right now. Everybody on their feet holding their cards, mentioning names of someone they are standing up to cancer in honor of. People who have battled cancer, and everybody standing and holding their cards up on Hockey Fights Cancer Night here at Staples Center. And we are all Kings, and everybody standing up to cancer. Jim, who you got on your card?
I got my dad's name, Clarence Fox. He passed away due to cancer, so we're all going to try to make sure this stuff goes away.
I've got friends Eric Pontoppidan and Greg Howland from our church. Dennis Fougere, the Kings scout. You heard about his story earlier. Danny Zollers of the LA Kings and Jeff Moeller of the LA Kings. So a great moment there here at Staples Center on Hockey Fights Cancer Night. Puck held in by Carolina now. Here on the right side, it is just tipped away from Jeff Skinner. And the Kings clear it out to center ice. This is a battle tonight, and Jim, it doesn't surprise me. The Kings played so well last night against a very strong team in San Jose, but here's a team they don't see very often, and they have a struggle on their hands tonight with a 1-0 lead. Puck is out to center. Kopitar trying to regain control, but pressure now from Carolina, but they're offside on the play. Skinner was pressuring Kopitar, and then Versteeg went for the puck, but offside call.
And Kopitar couldn't get there. He couldn't make it happen, but he did the right thing. He just disrupted the play until the Hurricanes go offside. First period, McDonald's assist to the game. Ehrhoff, no look, pass. The fake shot pass made it work. You have the traffic with Carter, Lucic, and then you have the pulling of the trigger. And just changing the angle ever so lightly. That was a 1-0 goal earlier. That's where we are right now. Kings 1, Hurricanes 0.
Carolina wins another faceoff. They've won 24 faceoffs. The Kings 11 in the game. And Carolina moves it up ahead to center ice. And at the King blue line, it comes off on the right wing side. Shot from there and a save by Quick as he gathers it in. A long shot from back of the blue line by Chris Terry.
And the Hurricanes were going on a counter there. They had 3 or 4 guys jumping in, including defensemen. So Daryl Sutter talked about them this morning. He's also talked about this guy right here. Maximize your skill set. And I don't know if anyone has done that so far this year more than Tyler Toffoli. 5 goals, leads the Kings. His buddy, his line mate Jeff Carter has 2. Then you have 4 tied with 1. So not a lot of goal scoring. Daryl Sutter just trying to manufacture right now some type of control in the game for the Kings in the second.
And another faceoff won by the Hurricanes, and a shot by Murphy tipped up in the air, and then a rebound batted and up in the air again, and a rebound shot wide to the left by Stahl, and the net is dislodged.
And Quick falls back. The puck goes over the glass. It went off the glass, so not going to be a penalty against the Kings, but the faceoff's going to stay deep because it was Quick that knocked the net off. He felt there might have been some traffic, but on that faceoff, there were 2 or 3 chances for the Hurricanes. Watch this. Jonathan Quick down. He's up. He's trying to find it. Does it get through? It doesn't. Can't find it. Bang right here. And then on the other side, just goes wide on the play. There's the contact. So it was Rask that made the contact. Is he pushed or shoved in? Not really. He goes himself. So Quick has the right argument right there. Faceoff should be outside. And the way this game is going, you see Jonathan keeps pointing, but no one's going to listen to him right now. He's doing his job. He's stopping the puck. The Kings got to get it out.
Here's another crucial faceoff, and the Hurricanes win it, but a shot from the top of the slot is knocked down, and the Kings bring it to center. On the right side with speed is Carter. Carter throws it in front and just out of the reach of Lucic. Lucic in the corner. He's checked there by Rask. Up the middle it goes to Toffoli. His shot blocked. And the Hurricanes jump on it there and get it back out to center ice. Picked up there by Eric Stahl. Stahl last year, Eric Stahl led the team in goals and points. 23 goals, 54 points. Kings with it at center ice, and a pass taken away as the Hurricanes. Michael Jordan intercepts, and he's got it again as he brings it up to center. Sends it into the King zone, and McNabb going for it down in the corner. McNabb and Doughty back defensively, and the puck comes up to John Michael Lyles. He gets it over now to Jordan Stahl, and we get an offside called here with 2:45 to go in the second period.
I'm going to say it again, Bob. It's just another example of the sloppiness there. You have the puck, but it's just out of sync time, and that's the way it's going. So it's tough sledding. You got to just find a way, and the Kings have been known as a team that's mentally tough, and will find a way to settle things down. Daryl Sutter decides to change up the lines here. Didn't like what he saw there in the last play, so veteran presence up front right now with Kopitar, Brown, and Gaborik.
The Avalanche on the road so far. They are 2-2 this year. And the puck driven in by John Michael Lyles for Carolina. Comes over to McGinn. And it is tipped to the blue line and held in again by Carolina. Back behind the net. Here's Skinner. Skinner check there. And the Kings come out with a puck, and it is cleared up in the air and out of play. But
nope. Penalty automatic coming up. That's what happened. McBain did everything right there. Wow, he did everything right. He defended correctly. He got inside position. He got body position. He gets the puck. We'll see it here. He's looking for an open man, and he doesn't get anything but open air. Not off the glass. You see everyone pointing. It was an automatic call. Watch this here. Good work. Neutralize. Get your man. Get the puck. Get your feet moving. Get your head up. But then at the last minute, just one of those plays that you don't want to make, but you end up making. Automatic call. 0 for 2 so far. 3 shots for the Canes, and they're looking to tie it up here 1-1 because they trail by a goal.
Jamie McBain in the penalty box, and the Hurricanes with a power play. Skinner put it down in the corner. Chasing it down there is Eric Stahl. Back to the blue line it goes. Pass over to Falk. He shoots, and a save by Quick.
And Jonathan Quick was there before the shot was even taken. And credit the Kings with boxing out to a certain extent there, because the pass is made so quickly from one side to the other. You got to stop there, guys, as the shot's taken. Yeah, there's no Hurricanes near the front of the net. You have someone off to the side, but look at the Kings' numbers here. Good job right there. Shot from the outside. Quick. Yeah, he saw it all the way, makes the save.
Carolina 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. They've had 2 power play goals this season in 27 attempts. And Falk has the puck again. He shoots. Knocked down. Skinner in front. The Kings break it up and clear it to center. Falk has both power play goals this season for the Carolina Hurricanes, and he sends it up across the blue line to center ice. Now John Michael Lyles back in to get it. He's out of Michigan State University. Lyles drops it back. Power play in effect here, and across the line, here's Eric Stahl, left side. Eric Stahl in deep, cut off by Muzzin. Gives it back to Versteeg. Versteeg's pass, right side. Falk shoots, and it's deflected up out of play, off the netting.
And then the Kings hoping it's off a Kane. It's not the case. It stays in down low. Goaltending always so important. It's also important when you get to the playoffs. We know that. We've seen that. Last 10 seasons, 3 goaltenders have won. The Conn Smythe Trophy is the MVP in the playoffs. You saw Quick, of course, he did in 12. You've got Ward, he did in 6. Tim Thomas with the Bruins in 11. Always the main center of attraction. And both guys real sharp so far tonight.
Minute 12 left to go in the King penalty. On the face-off, Kopitar, but the puck taken by Carolina. Pass on the right side by Hanifin. Gets it back again. He shoots. It's deflected in the corner. McNabb goes for it there. Taken away and held in again. Right side, Noah Hanifin, 18 years old. Feeds it to Murphy. Shoots. Blocked in front. They had good net presence right in front of Quick. And it's tipped out to center ice by Lewis. Just got his stick on it to tip it out to center.
Yeah, the earlier shot by the Canes. Quick could see it. That one with good screen.
Now down the middle. Gerby with a backhander and a save by Quick. Gerby with a good chance. Murphy at the blue line. Feeds it over left side. Under a minute to go in this period. Kings trying to get out without giving up a goal. Now in front, it's tipped up in the air. Gerby overskated. Kings can't clear. Held in now by Ryan Murphy. Feeds it left side. Now a pass. Soft pass to the right side, but the Kings couldn't get to it. Now the Hurricanes clear it themselves out to center ice.
Good reaction there by Lewis. He understood the Canes were under pressure. Keep the pressure on. You get out of the zone.
Rask threw it in behind the net. Doughty slaps it around out to center ice and all the way back into the Carolina zone. And the Kings are back at full strength. 4 shots on that power play for Carolina. 20 seconds to go in this period. Can the Kings get out of it without giving up a goal? Pass on the right side, shot wide by Eric Stahl. Now it comes left side and held in again by Hainsey. Down in the corner, picked up by the Kings. Here's Martinez. Martinez gets it out to center ice. That should do it for the period. 2 seconds to go. And that is the end of the second period. Brown has a few words there with one of the Hurricanes coming around from behind the net.
It's been a period where the Hurricanes had those chances. They had bounces, they had shots, they had tips, they had screens, and Jonathan Quick was outstanding in period number 2.
It was Justin Falk that Brown had a little bump with there as the buzzer sounded. So in the second period, no scoring. Shots on goal for the game, 28 for Carolina, 18 for the Kings. To this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Los Angeles Kings is prohibited. Kings Hockey is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Mercury Insurance. Mercury Insurance is on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today to get a fast, free quote and see how much you could save.
Welcome back, Staples Center. Kings with a 1-0 lead. Downstairs right now to Davis Payne. Davis, Kings are in this situation quite a bit. What's a key here in period number 3?
Well, I think the direction of our game, we got ourselves in the off-ramp instead of the on-ramp at our opponent's blue line a few too many times in that second period. Spent a little too much time in our zone. We know what our game looks like when we're all pointed in the right direction. We just got to make sure we play in behind these guys for 20.
All right, thanks very much. So simplifying right there. Blue line's always so important, and Davis Payne feels, especially at that offensive blue line, it's just that simple play to get it in behind. When it's not working, and it hasn't been, at least in the second period, it just wasn't working. And Bob, this is not one of the nights, I believe, where the Kings are, don't have the energy or not showing the. It's just one of those nights where it's just not working. I credit the speed of the Hurricanes for a lot of that, but simplify things and keep the puck going north-south. That helps everyone make their decisions.
Third period underway as the Hurricanes bring it into the Kings zone. A pass up the middle, broken up there and cleared to center by Brown. Brown down the right wing. The trailer is Kopitar. Brown in deep, shoots. It's knocked behind the net. Brown goes for it again. Puck comes over to Kopitar. Kopitar into Gabrick. Marian Gabrick drops it to Kopitar. Kopitar all the way to the blue line. Gives it over to Doughty. Doughty spinning there, trying to get away. Throws it in front. He had Brown there, but it comes right back to Doughty. Now dropped off to Kopitar. Kopitar pulls up, turns, gives it to Brown, shoots and a save. Rebound Brown again, but it's taken away and cleared to center ice.
Well, there's a shift by the Kings to start the period. That was solid. That was down low. It was keeping control. It was having a high third man. So even if the play doesn't work, someone's there as a safety valve, and that's exactly where you want to start a period and keep it going from there. Kia in the driver's seat. Drew Doughty, known for a lot of ice time. When you take a look at what's going on right now, NHL, Power Ice leaders. No one has more than Mr. Doughty. That's not a surprise to anyone. Then again, we talked about it last night and tonight already. Andrei Kopitar leads forwards in ice time.
No player in the game has more than 3 shots on goal, and only one of the Kings has that. That is Drew Doughty with 3. Kings have it again. Here's Carter. Carter into the corner now and played by Lucic. Drops it off right side. Toffoli, backhander blocked. Toffoli in the slot, couldn't get another shot. Puck cleared out to center ice. For the Hurricanes, Murphy, Gerby, Falk, and Rask all have 3 shots apiece. Now a pass in front off the stick there of Toffoli. Tried to tip it on net, but it didn't get there, and it's taken away by Nathan Gerby. Gerby sends it down in deep. Kings break it up. Martinez now up to center. Here's Lucic. Lucic sends it ahead, chases it in with John Michael Lyles, and an icing call against the Kings.
Now, Lucic had the right idea right there. Keep that north-south going. It's been a much better start. We were just talking about it. The play by Tyler Toffoli. The pull and drag just changed the angle. Coming out around the stick. Backhand, ready to shoot. Always ready to shoot. That's a big part of his game.
Carolina's in their 37th season. They spent 18 years in Hartford as the Hartford Whalers, then moved down to Raleigh, North Carolina. They're in their 19th year in Raleigh. They've been out of the playoffs the last 6 seasons. They won the Stanley Cup in 2006. Puck is at the blue line, shot and a save, and a rebound, another save by Quick. He got his left skate out to make that save. Now a shot from the blue line, knocked down. Some dangerous chances here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Kings still lead it 1-0. They clear it out to center ice.
What they do right now, the young defensemen, a lot of young defensemen on the Hurricanes, they get it through. They get those shots through. Not hard, but they get them through.
And the Hurricanes have it again. In the zone. Left side, Malone throws it in front, and sprawling down to the ice was Quick. I don't think it ever got to him, and it slides out to center ice. Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup in 2006 and missed the playoffs the next year. Puck comes all the way to the blue line of the Kings, swept away by McNabb and taken by Doughty, back to McNabb. We're in the third period, 1-0 Kings. The last game that Carolina played was in Colorado, and they won that game 1-0. Kings still with the puck in the Carolina zone. It comes over on the right side to Shore, but taken away and back up to center. 4-on-2 for Carolina into the Kings zone. Pass right side and a shot and a save by Quick, and he covers it up.
Yeah, defenseman Ryan Murphy joins that attack, Bob, to make it a 4-on-2, 4-on-3, doesn't matter. But the quick transition, shot coming in. Keep an eye on Jonathan Quick trying to get low right there. He does. And look at the angle of his pad. That's so important right there to make sure that you're going to get the entire pad in front of the puck as much as possible, because if there is a deflection or change of direction, you have the biggest possible surface to get in front of the puck and make the save.
Lindholm had the last shot, and now the face-off to the left of Jonathan Quick. And they drop the puck. Muzzin goes for it, and he comes out of the pile with it. Rask was facing off for Carolina. Kings with a 3-on-2 now. Here's Nolan down the right wing. Flipped it up in the air. It's knocked down by Muzzin, but poked away from him and back up to center ice. Victor Rask into the Kings zone. Right side. Cuts toward the middle, but lost the puck. Taken away by the Kings now. And Marian Gaborik at center ice. Or excuse me, it was Clifford at center ice and taken now by Andriov. He throws it down behind the net. The Kings want to get a line change now. Puck is still in the Carolina zone and sent back into the King zone, and hustling back now McBain, but an icing call against Carolina.
You know, on that one right there, the puck just bounces over the stick of Ehrhoff, and that's the way the rule reads as far as icing goes. Even though Ehrhoff was there, the rules say, you know, you can't predict the bounce of the puck, and when it bounces, you don't blame the player that's trying to play it, and goes all the way down for the icing. Even though he's there, and a lot of players, oh, what's going on? It bounces, the linesman makes the decision, calls the icing.
Kopitar, Gaborik, Brown up front for the Kings. Ehrhoff, McBain back on defense. And the Hurricanes win another faceoff. They have been tremendous in that area tonight. Kopitar picks it up, though, and it's taken away. And now Gaborik with a check. Puck is held in at the blue line by Ehrhoff. Gets it over to Kopitar, but tipped away from him and back to center ice now. Taken by the Hurricanes in deep and back behind the net. Check thrown there and knocked Ehrhoff back a stride, but Kopitar picks it up, and it comes out to center ice. Carolina back to get it. Jordan sends it in. Kings back to get it. Here is Gaborik up to center ice. Gaborik's pass. Left side. Brown. Brown shoots, and it's wide to the right and off the boards and taken by Stahl, and he gets it up to center ice. Now flipped into the King zone by Elias Lindholm. Remember a few years ago, not too many years ago, a couple of years ago, Jim, we thought Carolina shot saved by Quick. He gets knocked down, and the loose puck is taken by the Kings.
And Quick somehow found a way to get his stick on the puck right there. Very aggressive was Eric Stahl. Looking at it the first time, I don't think he was shoved into that play, but he certainly had a lot of contact with Jonathan Quick.
Taken away, and a save by Quick as it was intercepted there by Victor Rask after Quick threw it along the boards. Lucic gets it out to center ice. And again, Carolina into the King zone. McGinn throws it in deep. Kings take over, clear it up in the air to center ice. Carter looking for it. Carter couldn't get there in time. And Carolina has it again. What I started to say there before that play by Quick, remember we thought they were the fastest team in the league a few years ago, and there's a shot knocked down there by Ward.
That's part of the reason for all the turnovers tonight by the Kings, because of that speed.
Here is Lewis cutting toward the net. Threw it there and a stop made. Rebound. Martinez in front. Lucic couldn't get a shot. Tipped away from him and out the center, and Martinez hustles back.
Great shot by Martinez. He keeps it low. Lucic gets a piece of it. Just a great save. So the Kings much better here in the third than they were in the second.
Kings changing lines as Lewis puts it deep into the Carolina zone. 14 minutes to go in the third. Puck back into the King zone. Sent up the center by McBain. Intercepted there and across the line. Pass left side by Carolina. It comes over on the left and held in there as Brad Malone goes for it. Malone trying to get it in deep. Taken away by the Kings on a centering pass and intercepted by Ehrhoff. Now on the right wing. Kings back down deep into the Carolina zone. Shore gets checked into the boards and the puck centered over now and taken by Ryan Murphy. 22-year-old defenseman in his third year. Flipped deep into the King zone now by Chris Terry, and the Hurricanes want to get a line change. Now the puck still in the King zone. Christian Ehrhoff with it now. His pass knocked down there by Stahl and poked out the center by McBain. Clifford with it. His shot wide to the right.
Now it's up to this line here, the fourth line for the Kings, to try to get that forecheck, sustained pressure. They've got to become a factor in this game because that speed of the Hurricanes is very effective. They try to grind them out, wear them down. The Kings have not been able to do that tonight.
Jordan Stahl to Lindholm. His shot is wide to the left. Eric Stahl. Back to Jordan Stahl. Now over to Lindholm. Lindholm behind the net. His pass taken away, and the Kings get it up on the right side to Brown. Brown to center ice. Brown's pass across the line broken up by Justin Falk. Kings have it back in their own zone, but they're pressured there now. Is coming in a hurry is Victor Rask. Puck in the neutral zone. Kings have it. They get it to Brown. Brown drives it in deep.
That's what Davis Payne was talking about right there. You got to get it in deep. Otherwise, you expend energy in your own zone. And the Kings are better here, especially this line. I've liked the work of Kopitar, Gaborik, and Brown here in the third.
Martinez holds it in. He gets it down and deep to Brown. Brown fighting his way, and there's a penalty to Brown.
All until that one right there. Too much stick. And Brown got the stick of the legs. He might also get the other player. We might get two here. We'll see. Maybe one for a trip, maybe one for an embellishment. We'll find it when we get back.
I think you're right.
Holding a 1-0 lead. Looked like the initial calls against Brown, but Rask makes it a little bit too much right there. The referee calls both. He calls a hold on Dustin Brown right there with the arm. But watch the legs of Rask. He's kind of leaning already, and then he just barrel rolls, and that usually catches the attention of the officials. And that was the case. So holding and then embellishment of the hold. So sometimes there's a difference between a dive and an embellishment. A dive is when you're not fouled and you go down. Embellishment is when you are fouled, but then you make it look too much. The referee doesn't like that. You get 4-on-4 skating.
And off the draw here in the Carolina zone. Kopitar in front, backhander, he scores! Anze Kopitar gives the Kings a little breathing room with a 2-0 lead.
I mentioned earlier the Kings looking to be opportunistic tonight because of the way things were going. And Kopitar's line, although he's out there with Pearson, it's just a breakdown by the Hurricanes. Hainsey trying to do too much here. Now credit Tanner Pearson. Watch. Pearson jumps on him. And Kopitar, watch this. One move beats a defenseman. One move beats the goaltender. Picks the right time to elevate. And it's that big swoop by Anze Kopitar. Pearson made it happen, but Hainsey just overplayed the situation. Didn't have to try to pass. He tried to pass. Kings lead 2-0.
Kopitar with his second of the year. His first one was that overtime goal that won the game. And Kopitar now gives the Kings the 2-0 lead. Hainsey upset with himself. He just flipped it with his glove back and right on the stick of Kopitar.
Again, off the face-off, you have Pearson in position to make it happen. Right here is Pearson. He's going to go after the puck, but then watch Hainsey. He gets his glove on it. There's probably no reason to do that there. At least keep it behind the net, not in front of the net. Not the case. The decision is wrong. Kings lead with Kopitar jumping on it.
Kopitar with an assist to Tanner Pearson at 8:04 of the third period. Kings with a 2-0 lead. in the King zone now. The puck comes behind the net and taken by Martinez and then taken by Kopitar. Now up to Pearson. Still 4-on-4 skating with those coincidental minors. Puck set over along the boards, taken away by the Hurricanes into the King zone. Back up the middle. Murphy spins, still has it. Ryan Murphy in deep, cut off by Martinez. Murphy. Martinez tipped it away, got it up to Toffoli. Toffoli to center. Kopitar needs a breather. He goes to the bench. Toffoli with it. Headed for the net is Carter, and the pass is up high and off the netting. And a stoppage of play there.
Jeff Carter was right off the bench, and he was going full speed. Toffoli had just come on too, so they're looking for each other. Toyota game analysis. Toffoli sniping in the first period. 4-game goal streak. That's the longest of his career. Sharp is the word for Jonathan Quick. Of course, Kopitar here in the third period, and the Kings have that 2-0 lead.
Hainsey with it, but they're going to do it again here in the Carolina zone.
When Hainsey there, Bob, again, it's easy to say up here, but he's under pressure. He wants to move the puck with his glove. If anything, there, push the puck behind the net or behind the goal line, not in front. He thought his defensive partner was there to pick up the puck, but that was a very risky play. Ends up costing him.
Up to center ice now. Justin Falk gives it off on the right side to Lindholm into the King zone. Falk again with the Kings taken away. Back they come to center. Here is Carter. Poke checked away by Hainsey with a good play to break up what would have been a 2-on-1.
That was all or nothing by Hainsey. That was the right decision.
Now McNabb trying to get it in the Carolina zone. Hainsey with it now. Sweeps it up on the right side, but Lindholm couldn't handle it. And an icing call against the Carolina Hurricanes. 10:23 to go in the third.
So a little sloppy. Hainsey, one of the only veteran defensemen for the Hurricanes. James Wisniewski missed the season. He'll miss the whole season. ACL tear. So you're looking at Bill Peters, head coach, wants to have a couple of the veterans to help out the young guys. Not the case with Wisniewski out, but Hainsey makes a non-veteran-like play that led to the goal.
They got Wisniewski to help on that power play, and he tore his knee on the first shift in a Carolina uniform in Nashville, and he's out 6 months. Kings back across the line. Here's Nick Shore. Shoots, and it's deflected up out of play by Ward. 2-0 in favor of the Kings. There you get a good look at Nick Shore, and we'll be back in a moment.
With a 2-0 lead.
And the face-off now in the Carolina zone. Kopitar ready on the draw for the Kings. He wins the face-off back to Muzzin. Muzzin throws it down the right side. Comes down into the corner. Picked up there by Kopitar. Pinned along the boards. He gets some help from Brown. Gabrick is out there but couldn't get the puck, and it's taken by the Hurricanes. Up to center ice and sent all the way down toward Quick. Quick stops it there, and he hangs on to it.
He's done that a few times tonight, and I think he's just understanding the pressure. Sometimes the goaltender gets good read on the game, and with the pressure and the speed of the Hurricanes, sometimes it's just good to start over. Even though you mentioned, Bob, the Hurricanes have been real good on the face-offs. At least everyone knows where the new start point is, and you can start over again. And you can do what Daryl Sutter's doing right now to kind of settle things down, make a line change, and get the matchups you want.
And on the draw here, they don't drop the puck yet. Shore facing off for the Kings, but he's going to be excused, and Lewis is going to come in to take the draw now against Victor Rask. And the loose puck is picked up by Carolina. Thrown in front, and Rask couldn't find it, went behind him. Puck cleared up ahead to Pearson. Pearson for the Kings, stopped at center ice. Kings trying to win their fourth in a row. They come into the Carolina zone, tipped away there. Lewis picks it up along the boards. Lewis checked by Hainsey, and the puck rolls free, taken by Carolina. Ryan Murphy drives it across the line and hops up over the glass into the crowd. Out of play, and another face-off coming up.
Ryan Murphy, Bob, was given an ultimatum at the end of last season. He's a young player just trying to find his way in the NHL. And on the year-end meetings, he was basically called in by the coaching staff and said, you have got to get into better shape. If you don't, you're not going to be on our team. The skill is evident. The mobility is evident. And he learned. And he listened. He He came into camp in much better shape, and pretty good start to the season for the Canes.
Andrej Kopitar with that goal now. He is only 2 goals behind Charlie Simmer for 7th overall in Kings history. Simmer had 222 goals. Puck comes into Toffoli. Toffoli back to Lucic. Right point it goes. McBain to Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff is pass right side. Lucic plays it off the boards. Lucic and his pass taken away. Back to center ice. Across the line, Versteeg for Carolina. Versteeg in the slot. Right side pass picked up there, and a pass thrown in front, and a backhander by McClement. Knocked down there by Quick, and the Kings back to center ice.
That's where the Kings have to get it deep. Right there. I know it's not the most pretty play in the world, and the Kings end up icing it, so you lose territory. You get a face-off in your own zone. It's just exactly what Davis Payne was talking about before we started this period. Hockey Fights Cancer Night. The entire NHL, Staples Center tonight. The theme is let's raise some money, and everyone's doing that. The lavender jerseys in the warm-ups for the Kings. Cooper comes out, drops the puck. Ceremonial face-off before the game. So many ways to help tonight. We thank everyone because we know, Bob, I've taken a look at the bids. There were a bid on those jerseys, and Kings Care and Hockey Fights Cancer are going to make a lot of money tonight because of the fans.
Well, that's great. A shot knocked down, and Stoll again with a shot saved by Quick. The Kings going for their 4th win. They beat Minnesota in overtime 2-1. They beat Colorado 2-1. They won last night at San Jose 4-1. And here with 8:21 to go in the 3rd, the Kings have a 2-0 lead.
And Daryl Sutter goes with the Kopitar line again. I think they've been very effective here in the 3rd. So we'll see if the Kings, if they get the red line, got to get it deep. Unless you've got a clear-cut outnumbered attack, get it deep.
Another battle in the face-off circle for the loose puck, and it comes right in front to Quick, and he covers it up. We've had several not won cleanly lately, just a battle in that face-off circle.
And a lot of battles all night long where it's been scrambly at times, but you just keep working. You work as hard as possible, and right now it might be the will to win. Just make sure you outwork the guy next to you.
Kopitar on the draw here, and he wins that one back to Doughty, and Doughty plays it off the boards up to center ice.
Yeah, it is the back-to-back for the Kings, so you're thinking about fatigue factor and keeping things going that way. The Kings, I think, can play a pretty good 3rd period here. Much better in the 2nd.
Carolina's going to have a back-to-back. They're going to go up to San Jose and play there tomorrow night. The Kings will be in Edmonton on Sunday night. 6 o'clock Kings Live, 6:30 game time. Kings in their first look at the #1 overall pick, Connor McDavid. That'll be Sunday night. Tuesday in Winnipeg, and then back here on Saturday, an afternoon game against Nashville. Puck sent back behind the net, played by Martinez. He gets it up over on the right side to Pearson. Pearson's pass to center, broken up by Falk. Carolina with a pass in front, and a penalty coming up to Pearson here. Back to the blue line. Here's Falk, right side. He shoots, and a save by Quick.
And Quick's making it look easy. Nothing's easy out there right now. It's going to be a hook against Pearson, but Jonathan Quick's set position. Much like Jonas Enroth last night, it's just being there before the shot is taken. Yeah, stick just under the arms there. It happened before the puck got there. So Rask ends up drawing one right there, and the Kings will get into a penalty kill. 7:15, so still a little bit of time remaining.
Hurricanes are 0 for 3 tonight with a power play. They've had 7 shots. They're trailing by 2, so here's a very important power play for Carolina. Important penalty kill for the Kings as the Kings win the draw again. Kopitar into Doughty, and he drives it the length of the ice. Kings tonight would get their 167th consecutive sellout, including the playoffs. Drop pass back to the blue line of Carolina. Now Falk steps across the line. Falk on the right side, but a pass by Skinner comes to an open wing, and it's cleared by Doughty. Kings change up their penalty killers. Brown goes off. McBain goes off. Carter is on. So is Toffoli up front. Martinez and Muzzin back at the blue line killing the penalty. And it's cleared by Muzzin to center ice. Jeff Skinner back to get it. Former NHL Rookie of the Year. Now Justin Falk. Falk's pass to the blue line of the Kings. Driven down in deep and around the boards. Picked up by Versteeg. It rolls up the middle. Kings trying to get to it. And Carter backhands it out to center ice. 55 seconds left to go in the King penalty. Carolina Hurricanes with it. Brought up to center ice now by Hanifin, then driven in. A save made by Quick. Puck comes around to the right side. Held into the right point by Murphy. Threw it down in deep. Pass picked up back behind the net. Played off on the left wing side now and taken down the corner by Lindholm. Elias Lindholm hanging on to it. Kings taking away his passing lanes. Lindholm still with it. Now throws it in behind the net. Comes out in front. Smacked that there and then sent into the corner. Kings couldn't get good control on it. McNabb tried to get it on his stick. Puck comes back to the right point to Ryan Murphy. Murphy moves down the right side. Throws it back on the left. Still in the Kings zone and cut off there. The Hurricanes down in deep. Throw it in front. Point blank save by Quick.
It took a long time to develop, but the Hurricanes just were patient. They maintained control, and Jonathan Quick like Wall tonight so far.
It was Lindholm that had the great chance, and then he got knocked down.
Lindholm may have been a little too close in that situation, but sometimes that's where the opening is. And he went there a little frustrated, but that time Jonathan Quick just stayed big. Maybe kind of fanned on it, the paddle down flat, so the bottom part of the net taken away. Earlier on that shift, Jonathan Quick did a good job in his own crease. An attempted pass from behind the net. Just when you were saying, Bob, the Kings were taking away all the passing lanes, watch with Quick here. He gets a stick on it himself. Anytime it's in the crease, if you're the goaltender, you got to try to block it. He does right there. 3 seconds remaining. And the Kings will kill another one.
And they draw one by Carolina, but out of the penalty box comes Pearson. Pass up to center, tipped up in the air and taken now on the right wing side by Brown. He got checked there and Kopitar digs it out. Back to Muzzin. Thrown down the right side into the Carolina zone. In front, a pass there, but out of the reach of Kopitar. Pass by Brown. Here's Pearson. Pearson back behind the net. Trying to get away from Hainsey. Drops it off to Kopitar. Kopitar's goal gave the Kings a 2-0 lead. Shot by Muzzin. Save made by Ward. Still a battle along the boards, and it's taken by Carolina. Back up to center ice. Versteeg across the line. Left side. Skinner shoots up high and over the net. And out of play. 4:29 to go in the third now. 2-0 Kings. Good look at Jeff Skinner right there. His shot was up into the netting. We'll be back after this.
A 6 p.m. pre-6:30 game. Oilers lost tonight. They had a 3-game win streak. McClellan's now the coach. McDavid, first overall. Cam Talbot solidifying the goaltending situation. If I'm not mistaken, Bob, I heard for the first time ever in the history of the National Hockey League, in a recent game, 4 former first overall picks scored in the same game. Hall, Yakupov, Nugent Hopkins, and of course McDavid. So bad things have to happen for good things like that to happen later on, but they're trying to turn the corner and trying to figure out ways to win more and more.
They've had a lot of those number 1 picks. Tonight for Carolina, 4th game of a 7-game road trip here. The puck comes in the slot, swept away there by Pearson.
Looked like one of the Canes was looking for a chance and went down, but I thought it looked like a trip.
Now it comes over to Lewis. He clears it out to center and back into the Carolina zone. Chased down in deep. No icing there. Never got across the goal line. Dug out by Pearson. Pearson along the boards. Gets it over to McBain. He didn't go for it. Held in, though, by the Kings. Sent in by Lewis. To Shore. Nick Shore behind the net. Lewis chases it down. Lewis comes out in front. Can he get a shot? No, it's taken away and played by Carolina up to the blue line. 3:49 to go here in the third. 2-0 Kings. Carolina gets it up to Rask. Rask at center ice. Steps across the line. Throws it in deep. Carolina with 3 games left in this road trip. They're going to be in San Jose, Detroit, and the New York Islanders before they go back home. Here at center ice, sent down into the Kings zone by McGinn. Taken by the Kings. Cleared by Martinez up to center. Bounces down. Lucic goes for it. Taken away, though, by Justin Falk. Falk's pass. Nice pass on the right wing side. Cutting down Ian Deep. Trying to get a shot. McGinn again. Can't get to it. It's taken away by the Kings. Lucic up the center. Here's a 2-on-1. Lucic left side. Lucic in front. Score! Toffoli. He gets his second of the night on a 2-on-1 with Lucic. He is red hot. 6 goals now on the year. And 6 goals in the last 6 games.
Lucic does the work, but it's the young defenseman Noah Hanifin that just makes the wrong decision. Up along the boards, Hanifin will pinch right there. Doesn't get the puck, doesn't get Lucic. And you see Lucic uses his reach right there. He has to reach around the stick of Murphy. And at the right time makes the play. So good skill there, good understanding of where the pressure's coming from. But it was up the ice. The decision was made. You're trailing by 2. You try to be aggressive, and the Kings kill him. Kings lead by 3.
Toffoli from Lucic. Toffoli's 6th of the year. Comes with 2:58 left to go in the third period. And the Kings back up to center ice. Here's Kopitar across the line. He's got a goal. Drops it back. Ehrhoff with a drive and a save by Cam Ward.
So the Kings get a chance to maybe take a breather for the first time tonight. Again, the puck up the boards. Stop it here, guys. You see there it is 5. He's going to go ahead. You either got to take the man or you got to get the puck. And nothing was accomplished. Unfortunately by the young defenseman for the Hurricanes. You see him, he kind of gets into no man's land. And Lucic makes him pay. Toffoli makes the goaltender pay, and the Kings have that 3-goal lead.
Toffoli with his second of the night. Lucic and McNabb get the assist at 17:02. Puck comes down into Eric Stahl. He moved it around the boards, held into the blue line, and now Jordan Stahl goes for it. He shoots, and it is up and out of play. 4th career 2-goal game all at home for Toffoli.
It's nice to see Lucic get involved again. Just that give and go, and I know it's a game-end situation. It was smart by Lucic at the end there to reach around the defender's stick. Sometimes, you know, a younger player would force that. Lucic didn't. He knew he would have the reach advantage at some point and made it work with a pass.
Patrick gave you a hint who their guest would be on the postgame show. Said he scores a lot of goals. Well, it's going to be Tyler Toffoli. Another big night for him. Kings with a 3-0 lead now and under 2 minutes to go in regulation. Puck is in the Carolina zone. Back to the blue line to Muzzin. Muzzin gets checked there by Skinner. Puck taken away. Cleared to the blue line of the Kings. Lucic with 2 assists tonight. He had the puck come off the boards, and the Kings clear it back out to center ice. And down into the Carolina zone. Minute 28 left to go in this third period. Kings trying to win their 4th in a row. They've defeated Minnesota, Colorado, San Jose last night, and here ending this 1-game homestand tonight with a 3-0 lead and a minute 11 to go in the third period. Stoppage of play as the puck came up out of play.
So it's one of those games, Bob, where the Kings, maybe in last year, and I don't know if I'm reaching too deep, but it might have been one of those games they wouldn't have hung on to. Because I don't think the Kings ever really had control of the game. 40 shots by the Hurricanes. But they were smart. The Kings were smart in the third period, much better. I think they were led by the line of Kopitar. Brown and Gabrick earlier, just making smarter plays, more time with the puck. But to me, it's been the goaltending. The way the game has been played, it's been the goaltending of Jonathan Quick that got the job done.
Less than a minute to go here in the third period. Carolina into the Kings zone. Puck driven in deep, but offside called here.
You know, there's some games where the goaltender can steal it. I'm not saying Jonathan Quick stole the game tonight, but just because of the unsettling nature of the way the game was being played, I felt he had a big impact on this game. There were times there where the Kings were scrambling, and again, that's credit to them. We talked about it way back. We never questioned the intensity of the Kings. It was just more the decision-making. Just didn't seem to be there a little out of sync. But veteran team finds a way to grind it out and get a win at the end, and 2 big goals in the third.
Now the puck just inside the blue line of Carolina, taken there by Lucic. And a drive that is deflected. The Kings with this win tonight going to have 8 points to tie San Jose and Vancouver for first in the Pacific Division. So what a turnaround when things look really bleak after those first 3 games. Kings were outscored 12-2 in losing their first 3 games all here on home ice. Now they've allowed just 3 goals in the last 3 games during this winning streak. Up comes to the blue line. Ehrhoff with a drive just wide. 27 seconds left to go. Puck slides all the way back into the Kings zone. Swept away by Jonathan Quick. Kings with it. Only one thing left to be decided now. You know what it is. I won't tell you till it's done. Puck comes up the center ice. Tipped all the way down. 8 seconds to go now. Kings going to get the win. Their 4th in a row. The fans on their feet. And a shutout for Jonathan Quick. His first of the year. And the 38th shutout of his NHL career. The Kings with solid goaltending 2 nights in a row. Won by Enroth last night and now by Jonathan Quick. Kings win it 3-0.
Tonight's Mercedes-Benz Star Player of the Game brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California is Jonathan Quick. And again, there's a lot of things. Toffoli keeps the goal-scoring streak going, gets all that too tonight. But just the way the entire game unfolded, I think the sharpness of Jonathan Quick was instrumental. The Kings get 2. They'll go back on the road. And the Kings right back in the mix, as Bob Miller just said.
Enroth faced 40 shots last night, made 39 saves. Tonight, Quick faces 40 shots and made 40 saves for the shutout. Kings win it 3-0. We're going to see on Sunday at Edmonton for Jim Fox. This is Bob Miller. Kings Live is next, and we're going to go outside to Patrick and Sean.